as much as salt. A king's lesson in love, a heartwarming story about love, pride, and the value of simple things. Once upon a time, in a magnificent kingdom surrounded by green hills and flowing rivers, there lived a wise and powerful king named Edmund. He ruled his land with justice and kindness, and he had 3 beautiful daughters whom he loved dearly. As time passed, each of his daughters married noblemen from nearby regions, and instead of moving far away, the king insisted they all stay with him in the grand royal palace. The daughters lived happily with their husbands and children, and every evening, the whole family gathered at the royal dining table to share stories, laughter, and food. One peaceful evening, while they sat enjoying a grand feast, the king looked around at his daughters and suddenly wondered, "Do my daughters truly love me as much as I love them?" Curious and proud, he decided to ask. He turned to his eldest daughter and said, "Tell me, my dear, how much do you love your father?" She smiled sweetly and replied, "Father, I love you more than all the gold in your treasury." The king nodded with pride and turned to his second daughter. "And you, my beloved, how much do you love me?" She said, "I love you more than all the jewels in the royal crown." The king's chest swelled with joy. Then he looked at his youngest daughter, the gentle and quiet one, who had always spoken less than her sisters. "And what about you, my little pearl? How much do you love me?" She looked into her father's eyes with honesty and said, "Father, I love you as much as salt." For a moment, the room fell silent. Then the sisters burst into laughter. "Salt!" they giggled together. "How cheap! How plain!" The king's face turned red with anger and disappointment. "Salt, out of everything in the world, you compare your love for me to salt," he shouted. "Get out of my sight. If my love means so little to you, you shall no longer enjoy the luxuries of this palace." Despite her husband's pleas and her children's cries, the king's heart was hardened with pride. He ordered them all to be sent away, beyond the palace gates, beyond the city, to live among the poor and forgotten. Then, when 2 years passed, the youngest daughter and her family lived humbly in a small village. They worked the land, ate what they could grow, and never once complained. Though life was hard, they had peace, love, and dignity. But in the palace, things were about to change. One day, a strange shortage hit the kingdom. There was no salt, not a grain, not in the markets, not in the palace kitchens. No traders could find it, and no ships delivered it. Some said it was a curse. Others said it was simply bad luck. At first, the king thought little of it. "Salt is just a small thing," he told his chefs. "Surely the meals will still be delicious." But that evening, when he sat down to eat, the food tasted bland, no matter how expensive the meat, how rare the spices. Something was missing. Days turned into weeks. Without salt, even the finest royal meals became tasteless. The king grew frustrated. He lost his appetite. He snapped at his chefs and refused to eat. The people in the city were no different. They begged for salt, and soon they began protesting. "We want our salt. We want our salt. We want our salt. What kind of kingdom is this if we cannot taste our food?" Then one night, the king sat alone in the great dining hall, staring at yet another flavorless dish. He put down his spoon and whispered to himself, "Salt. I miss it more than gold, more than jewels." And suddenly, he remembered. Her words echoed in his heart. "I love you as much as salt," he gasped. His heart sank. Tears welled in his eyes. "She wasn't mocking me," he said aloud. "She was telling me the truth. Salt is simple, but essential. She loved me with a love that gives meaning to everything else. Without her love, nothing else tastes right." The next morning, the king sent a royal convoy to search for his youngest daughter. After days of searching, they found her dressed simply, working in a garden with her children. When she saw the royal guards, she feared more punishment. But instead, the head guard bowed and said, "Princess, the king begs you to return. He now understands the depth of your love. She said nothing, but her heart softened. With grace, she returned with her family to the palace. The entire city gathered to see them enter the gates again. The king stood at the palace door. With teary-eyed and humbled, he knelt before his daughter and said, "Please forgive me. I did not understand what love meant. You loved me not like gold that can be spent, nor jewels that can be stolen, but like salt, always there, giving life its flavor." She smiled gently and replied, "And like salt, true love remains, even if it's not always seen." Soon after, a merchant ship arrived carrying a large supply of salt, ending the great shortage. The kitchens came alive again, and joy returned to the kingdom. But more importantly, the king had learned a powerful lesson. Never judge the value of love by its appearance. From that day forward, he treasured the simple things, and the daughter who understood love better than anyone else. Sometimes, the most valuable love is the one we take for granted, the kind that quietly gives meaning to everything, just like salt.